Okay, so we're gonna go through how to use Missinglettr from the moment that it creates your social marketing campaign. So this is the email that I get as soon as Missinglettr is done running its magic and actually creating the campaign. It takes, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, just depending. Sometimes you have to automatically add the blog post to Missinglettr, but usually they're pretty good about scraping your RSS feed and finding it themselves. So anyways, you click this review reject campaign button when you're ready. And as you can see, it kind of gives me a little preview of at least what one of these quote images would look like, and it tells me which campaign it's referring to. So, say for example, you're publishing a bunch of blog posts in a day. It's nice to be able to, go into each one at a time, or, put them in a tab on your Gmail to deal with later. So click that button and Missinglettr will load up and you'll see review. I'm reviewing for this specific blog post. And so first it asks you to designate which hashtags you want to use. So I'm going to get rid of this because it's showing me that it doesn't really have a lot of popularity. And these are okay because they relate to, social networks and stuff, but I don't think they're really exactly what I want for this campaign, not exactly. So what I'm going to do is delete them both, and I'm going to add some new ones. So I'm going to try content marketing. Might do Missinglettr, actually probably not. I don't think that's going to get a whole lot of traction. So I think I'm going to do content marketing and then SMM, which is just shorthand in the Twitterverse for social media marketing. They say we recommend keeping between 1 and 3 to make it feel natural. I usually try to default to 2. That seems to be a good amount of hashtags to have, especially on Twitter, without going overboard. So once you've picked your hashtags, say, okay, let's review content. And these hashtags are going to go on all your social posts, whether it's for Twitter, Google, Facebook, whatever. You can edit these things individually, but if you'd rather just manually add them on Twitter, then that might be easier than doing it the way that I just did it. So it has this little pop-up and it gives you some information about how you're going to have to go about approving all these pieces of content. And like I said on the blog post that I wrote, Facebook can be a little tricky, which is why I'm going to go through it with you here. And then these are just, some details regarding what they've generated for you. So it says like we have 32 text suggestions. We have 10 images that we took from the post. And then as you can see here, here's the first, campaign item ready for review. So I'll just keep this one simple. And as you can see here, it added those hashtags on automatically. So I'm just going to show you a simple approval. We have to go to Facebook because my Facebook is connected to this, campaign, this, specific instance of my blog. So I have the Blogsmith, and then I also have Tanks That Get Around, which is another project that I work on. And so each one has its own special set of social profiles. So this one's for the Blogsmith. So anyway, I just click copy from whatever, this basic content was. Click on the Facebook tab, copy, and then paste it in here. If you go back and change this, I think it actually changes the Facebook review too. So I'm just gonna see if that actually does anything. So yeah, so now it's making me like recopy it, even though all I did was add another space. So, be wary of that when you're creating content. You kind of want to wait until you're all done to move it over to Facebook, and then you click save. So that's kind of a very quick way of doing it for that one, and that's me not changing anything. Let's take a look at what it would look like if I did change something. So here's day 3. This is the next one after day 0. Day 0 posting, as soon as you approve the campaign. So we can look through different post content, and this is essentially just taking from your blog post. It's just taking, sentences that for whatever reason their software tells them make sense for social sharing. A lot of the time it's pretty intuitive. It comes up with some pretty good options, and I find myself using most, if not all of them. This one, it says it did a lot. It has 32 text suggestions, so obviously I won't be using all of them since there's only 9 posts, but I think this is good. Thanks to the RSS connection you've created to one or more blogs, whenever you publish a new post, Missinglettr starts working on a relevant social media campaign. That's cool. But maybe I want to change this image because I just used it up there. And granted, you could be doing all the same social content on all of these and it would be fine because they're spaced out. But, you know, I might as well go through and customize it a little bit. And I kind of like this too. Both of these speak to the way that this tool works. It might not provide the full context for the article, but sometimes that's good to create this kind of curiosity gap where, you know, people are like, what is she talking about? I want to click through and find out. So I'll go ahead and copy this over to Facebook, click save, and we'll look down here. It has a nice quote image. I think I'm going to keep that. This, you know, is one of those text pieces that's just not really going to work. It didn't really draw anything useful. We already used that. That's, you know, a technical thing. It's not going to be super useful to people either. I kind of like this quote because it talks about what this is going to be about. So I'm going to use that. And now, you know, we have some images that came from the campaign. And so as you can see right here, that's how you change the images. Here's another slight annoyance of using Missinglettr. It changes the size of it. So you can't just kind of like quickly run through the images. You have to really, you know, do it one by one just because this UI pushes it down. So that's kind of annoying. I'm going to look at the bubbles because I think most of the images from that article were screenshots. They're not going to be super useful outside of the context of the article. So I'm going to kind of rely on the bubbles here. I like this. I think I'm going to keep that. Let's look through the post ideas here. And they have some sort of like generic, like a year ago, or in case you missed it, we published this. So those are kind of good too. If you just want to keep something simple, if your quote image perhaps is a little complicated, sometimes they get to be longer than this in terms of the text. So I'll go ahead and go with the generic thing there and click save. So we're getting pretty close now. You'll see the numbers are jumping from 30 to 90. And let's see what other text suggestions they're giving us here. I'm going to click past all those kind of generic ones. And this is cool. I like that. So I'm going to use that. Just trying to kind of quickly go through it so you guys can see the process here. We'll use another bubble. We'll see. Okay, this is good too. And again, you know, you don't want to be too complicated in between like the image and the text. So sometimes, you know, if you have a complicated quote bubble, like I just said, just balance it out. And this is displaying weird, but I think it's because of some of my other plugins. All right, so we'll go ahead and use the feature image. And we'll find another good quote we could use. We'll go ahead and use that one again just for the sake of getting through this tutorial. So now we have two left, day 270 and day 365. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off so I can show you how it'll look. And I'll keep that too. And so I'm going to show you something. If you don't click that save and I say finished, it's going to give me this error message because it knows that I have that Facebook thing. It knows that I need to, you know, save it, make sure that the content copy is there. So you just click copy, paste, save, and now it should be good. So you can see all the content. For whatever reason, my like Grammarly plugin is being weird, but the content's there. And you could either do it at the top or the bottom, say finished. And as soon as that's done, you get the option to also let somebody else approve it. So that's what this is. I want this campaign to be reviewed by. So if you're doing it for like a client, you know, if you're doing it for somebody else who wants to have the final say, then you can do that there. You can also adjust the start and stop dates if you want. You know, if you have really timely content, Missinglettr also allows you to do that before you get to this step. You can generate, or you can regenerate, I should say, an existing campaign in terms of like a shorter time frame if you want the same amount of posts, but you really want to, get the word out quickly. But I think I'm done here, so I'm just going to say activate. And now the campaign is approved. I can see it under my campaigns dashboard, so you can see campaigns I've already approved in the past. I can download any image assets that I created as part of this campaign or that Missinglettr created, so like those cool quote bubbles. I can, refer back to the original blog. I can affect social schedules if I want. I could pause it. I could edit it. So, and then you can see if there's any other campaigns that you need to take action on. So, that's basically how Missinglettr works. It's very simple. It's just as easy to set up as it is to, manually approve each of these campaigns. And the end result is really something great. I've noticed a lot more social engagement as a result of using Missinglettr specifically. So if you want to learn more about Missinglettr and also grab a nice discount code, then go ahead and grab the URL I'm going to link in the details about this video.